Hello everyone, welcome back once again to the weekly race guide. This is week 38 of the year, and if you care about DR, I would completely avoid this week, as you are about to find out. As you can see, first of all, we are at Special Stage Route X for Race A, and you can see we're in 4 GTs. It's a one-mate race, this one. Let's have a look at the race details then. We are racing one lap here at Special Stage Route X. It's a grid start. We are on racing hard tyres, and basically it's just flat out from start to finish. You do not need to brake at all in this. One thing I would avoid is bumper drafting. If you get bumper drafted, your SR is going to go down. So one little tip, stay at the back of the pack. Make sure you're in the lead pack, but stay at the back of it. Just lift off and coast, and then you should be fine going towards the end, because obviously it's the last corner that counts. Nothing before that. Let's jump to the race then, and I'll talk you through a couple of tips and tricks, which I've just talked about already, yeah, just how the race goes, I guess. Here we go then. Is it going to be a DR reset? Hopefully not, but as you can see, charge control on 1, it just uses it a tiny bit, then you're fine. Just make sure you turn it off before you go into second gear. These gears are long. They've definitely tuned this car to have long gears to get the maximum speed out there. Here we go, it's nitrous time! Boom! Okay, there's not really nitrous. It's just me fast forwarding because it's Special Stage Route X. And there's not much going on. So first of all, keep an eye out for people changing lanes like that, because I really should have moved over quicker because they randomly came into my lane. They would have got an SR down, actually, and not me. So unlucky for them. As we continue on now a bit further. So the critical thing, and I mentioned this before, you need to make sure you just stay with the lead pack. And that's all you've got to do. Now, with 12 cars on the grid, you should always be in that. The slipstream is massive, as you see. I'm just pulling in there into Bob's slipstream, and then we're just going to fast forward a little bit longer here. Now, as you get to the corner, stay on the inside is the best bet in my opinion, because otherwise you're going to get knocked about here, there, and everywhere. Now, I certainly hit Keefy there. I'm trying to avoid bumper drafting. I'd say if you get bumper drafted or hit from behind, you're getting the SR down. There's been some absolute shocking DR resets with this one. I don't know why they haven't turned it off like they did with the FIA one. That would have been worthwhile. So you can see I'm constantly lifting off here, and while I'm losing out to the pack, I'm not too worried because the pack's there anyway. You're not going to lose out in the grand scheme of it. So again, just stay with the pack, nice and easy. Stay at the back, you know, you can always lift off, and I didn't lift off in this. I was a bit of a pleb in a little bit, but in reality you can just lift off. As we see our first major crash there on the straights. Again, people changing lanes. They change lanes, they don't look at the radar, they smash somebody off, that smashes into somebody else. Suddenly you've got a huge Constantino effect. Boom, there you go. Again, literally a slight movement causes somebody to then run into me. I hit the barrier, but fortunately I stay in that slipstream just there. As we continue on now towards the end of this. So I actually go to the inside here after very quickly to avoid the hitting the driver there, and I'm in the wrong place here. Never be in the lead going onto this corner because you're not going to win basically. I try and keep it down on the low to avoid that issue, but everyone's had the run on me with their slipstream, so yeah, they've just had it. And I did drop to 5th gear to see if that would help, but no, stay in 6th gear as well. So you can see a lot of people here. Be careful about getting pit walled as well on the right hand side as you head towards the line. I came out of this with a positive SR. Most people come out with it with a negative SR. So take that as you will. And you can have some good racing here, some smart racing potentially, but make sure you just stay back before that last corner and you should be golden. But that's going to be it for this race A. Let's jump to race B now, where we head to Japan. Welcome to Japan then, and the Autopolis circuit. We're doing the full circuit here as well, and you can see it's Group 4, but it's a one-mate race. We are in the Ferrari 458. Now, weirdly, this car is a little bit understeery, to be honest. It felt a lot more understeery than I was expecting, so we'll talk about brake balance in just a second. Let's look at the race details first of all. We are racing 4 laps here at Autopolis. It's a grid start, and we are on racing hard tyres, and as always, no fuel and tyre wear in race B. 4 laps are good enough length in my opinion, but Autopolis very hard to overtake on, so there's always going to be lots of contacts. Now this race was a little bit iffy if I'm honest, so let's jump to that race. I'll talk you through some tips, tricks, a lap guide, and look at somebody go absolutely bonkos. Here we go then at the start. I whack traction control on. You do not need traction control here. You can just flat out go for it, unlike that Matt guy who just went backwards at the start. I don't know, maybe he didn't know where the accelerator was. Anyway, we continue on to turn 1 and let the carnage begin, because obviously turn 1 Autopolis is always a bit sketchy. As you can see here, there's contacts everywhere, but we survive it and we don't get a penalty, so we're doing good so far. My advice there, obviously, always stay on the inside of Autopolis, although one guy did it and ended up on the grass anyway. Anyway, we're going to continue on now as we catch up to the Spaniard. Obviously, my SR is all over the place at the moment with the way the penalty system is, so I end up in all sorts of lobbies. This one, no exception. So we go down the inside here of the Spaniard, who decides he wants to just dive me and knock me out the way. But the penalty system works! Look, the penalty! Oh my word. I'm so happy. But it doesn't work most of the time. As you see now, another Spaniard decides to come onto the racing line, causes pure carnage here, everyone getting hit everywhere, and we don't get a penalty. Look, look at the carnage. This is what it's like being in race. But this is why I'm saying this week, if you care about DR, just don't do it. Otherwise, just have a bit of fun, to be honest with you. I did expect to get absolutely launched up the inside there, but it didn't happen. So happy days, we continue on. Let's go a bit further ahead now. Let's catch up to that group up front, and we're now racing Vats Gats, the Brit, and we actually have quite a good race here. So, you know, shout out to this driver, and also to Jonan PE there. Just gets it a little bit wrong there, does Vats on the inside, backs out it completely to avoid spinning the Spaniard. So good sportsmanship as we overtake the Italian, and then down the inside of the Spaniard. I'm really destroying the Mediterranean at the moment here, down the inside, heading towards turn 1. Let's start the lap, guys. On the left-hand side, that orange dab on the barrier, that's your brake reference. I just braked just before that, or you should brake just before that. I'm not using the white van man this time, as we then drop down. Now, I couldn't decide gears. Third, second gear, it was very much borderline. Second will overslow you, but you're definitely going to make the corner. Third will be the optimum lap, I imagine. As we continue on now, we're going to head towards this right-hander. Very easy marker here, that piece of tarmac right there. That's the one I use normally. And you're going to drop to third gear here. And it's all about balancing the car for this next section, so just be careful about that. So as you come into here initially, you may run a little bit deep. We get it stopped there, lovely. And then we're just going to bounce the car through all of this section. So sometimes a dab a brake, as you see there, just to get round. Keep it to the left, and then we're going to look for that curb on the right side. That's our brake marker, and you notice I'm not all the way to the left. Now you're going to have to be careful of dives down the inside. As you saw in the previous lap, the Spaniard was just like, I don't care about you, Tidge, I'm just going to pile into you. So, you know, you do have to be careful of that. Leaving this corner, first, second gear, again I couldn't decide. First gear gave me turning. I did experience some understeer with the car. Second gear was good for acceleration. You see the Italian get it wrong here. It's all about balance. Again, I was switching between third and fourth. Fourth is definitely the faster gear to use there, as long as you get rid of that understeer. Heading up towards this hairpin, a tricky one here. The cones are actually really useful for this one if you do want to activate cones, but I'm using the black arrow there on the signage. That could get wiped out. Don't always use the black signage, but it's there if you do need it. As we then get slowed up by the Italian a little bit. It's a 4-second penalty. That's a bit of a nuke and a half to your race, isn't it, really? But stays to the right side. So good sportsmanship there by the Italian. As we head down towards the right-hander, we're going to use my common brake reference here. The right-hand side there, you've got that pole of some sorts. I don't know. Whatever that is with a ladder on it. You're using that. Very good marker here. Now, fourth gear, through there we go. You've got to have to be careful on that exit about going on the grass. It will spin you out, and then you're going to chuck it in then and drop a gear to third, drawing the corner. Now, I did test third and fourth gear here. Fourth to third was good. Second and then up to third early was very useful there. As you see, I do that there. Very good, because second gear allows you to get the turn in, and third gear then it's just nice and easy with the power band, no sudden changes in the car. And then this is all about balance. So Autopolis is purely about balance of the car. One little mark I want to point out here is that piece of tarmac there. When you can visually see that, you can accelerate, and normally you will make the corner. It's one marker that is really useful for accelerating at Autopolis. I use it all the time, and you can see there we make it nice and easy. You can go a little bit left if you want to, and we're going to head towards the line. In fact, what we're actually going to do, we're going to advance a little bit further on now to the final lap here, because you haven't seen the player that goes absolutely nuts. It's coming up, folks. Stay tuned, sit back, relax, and watch the entertainment about to fly here, because I can tell you right now, so many people lost SR here. Anyway, we're going to continue now into this right-hander, and then chuck it in. You see the Swede has made a good move there, I would say. You know, it's fairly clean. He's run a little bit deep potentially there. Got a penalty for his trouble, so, you know, that should be the end of that, really, in my opinion. But no, here we go. There's a tap on the inside. Then he gets fired into by the Ferrari driver. Now he's going absolutely nuts as this Danny van. Now I hit him, and then it's all kicking off. So I get 5 seconds of penalties for no reason whatsoever. But those guys decide to keep nuking each other. So I'm thinking, all right, I'll get to the finish. I should still keep this position. So round, round, round we go. And they're still firing at each other like nobody's business. This was hilarious as we head towards the line here. And 5-second penalty applied. And we keep P2, which is absolutely hilarious. And yeah. So if you look on the right hand side now, you can actually see all the red S. Or all the red SR, should I say. Yeah, it was carnage. Now, if you couple that with race A, it's a very carnagey week. Race C is going to be pretty similar, to be honest with you. So let's jump to that now. Let's have a look at that in a little bit more detail. Welcome to Brands Hatch then. One of my favourite combos this, because we are also in the Group 3 category. But before we jump into the cars, let's have a look at the race details first of all. We are racing 13 laps here at Brands Hatch. It is a rolling start. We have 2 tyre compounds here, the medium and the hard, but only the hard is the one that needs to be used here. Fuel usage is ×3 and tyre wear is ×8. Now in terms of cars, Brands Hatch is more towards a handling car, so I'd very much look at the handling cars available to you. Of course, when it comes to handling, there's only one car I use, and that's the Audi, but please feel free to pick what you like. It's Group 3, pick the car you enjoy racing and go race with it. Speaking of the race, let's jump to that now. I'll talk you through some tips, tricks, a lap guide, and yeah, just watch a whole bunch of guys have a pretty fun race, because we did this prior to the release of this week's dailies. So here we go at the start of the race, and as you can see, I'm on pole position. For some reason, the lobby put me on pole. So what I'm actually going to do at the start is just move off to the right hand side. Now, as always with Group 3, I'll show you the grid there. Everyone came in the lobby, everyone picked all sorts. Yes, you did see a Z4 in that. We will be racing that a little bit later on in this race. So, a rolling start, nice and easy. You're going to have to potentially worry about the last corner if you're further back in the grid, so just be a bit aware of that. You know, traction control may be worthwhile just to initially get going. Remember, you got tyre temperatures in there. If you're starting at the back, you might want to start on harder tyres. We'll get onto strategy a little bit later on, but here you go. I'm just letting people by here so we can actually have a decent race. ETM there, a fellow Audi driver from the past, also letting people go, but here we go. Let's start the race there. Finish driver just goes by. Here we go. So pretend you didn't see that start, and here we go, first corner. I said here we go about 400 times. Apologies for that. Anyway, here we go. Oh, just said it again. Oh my word! Right, turn 2, Druids. Through there we go, and the finish driver's already gone. That is cold tyres. Just got to be careful of that, as we also see Womble there going to Narnia. And through we go, and literally, yeah, be careful of tyre temperatures at the start. Now, if you're at the back, you might want to start on harder tyres. Remember, hard tyre is the one that is required here, not the mediums. However, I started on the mediums because it's a grippy tyre, and I do believe you're going to have to run the mediums at least once in this race. Now, in terms of strategies, you've probably got a 1-stop, which is medium and hards. Somebody did try a 2-stop in this. You may want to try that if you're in the lead and you just want to go for faster slaps, but I don't think that would be worthwhile doing. You also then have just trying a non-stop on hard. Brands Hatch is a very hard track to overtake on, as I'm about to show, going for a move at Dingle Dell, which is very awkward with Hendricks, but we get it done. We both survive. Happy days. Heading towards this left-hander now. So yeah, overtaking is very, very difficult. Now as we go through the week, people are going to get quicker and quicker and quicker, which is also going to mean that it's going to get even harder to overtake. Oh, as the American goes off there in the Veloce Aston Martin, and yeah, we accidentally hit him there. So we continue on now. We're about to get overtaken by the finish driver again. I'm not going to try and pronounce some of these names. So that's Prozac there, into the right. Now we're going to go for a cheeky move. Now this is obviously one of the better places to make moves here at Druids. Turn number 2 down the inside. Now what you can do as a defensive move is go around the outside. You know, in or out is very good. If you get the grip on the outside very quickly, the car's got to give you room there, and you could keep a position. Or you could try and go around the outside as an overtaking move, but that's a little bit harder to do. But on the inside at Druids, very worthwhile doing in terms of an overtaking manoeuvre. For some reason that zoomed in. There we go. Through we go then onto this back straight. Obviously a bit of slipstream here. It doesn't go into a hard braking zone, so it's not really an overtaking place. You'd have to have a power car really to be side by side as you get to Hawthorns here. And then this corner very difficult sometimes. As you can see, you're going to run very close to that curb. Lots of incidents can happen there. Be careful of the curb glitch on here. Now Hendricks doesn't suffer from that, just runs a little bit too deep there. So we get that position back from Hendricks. as we're now going to go race Gohan. Now, shout out to Gohan here, by the way. The night we did this, I've got to say, Gohan was driving probably one of the best I've ever seen him. Like, on this night, for Fugu Frenzy Quality, it was unbelievable to watch and see. Like, you know, shout out to you, Gohan, mate. You're like, it was one of the best I've ever seen you race. So we're about to go side by side, Dingle. Do not try this in the daily race, by the way, folks. It's impossible to do this in the daily race. It's just the fact that me and Gohan, this is a clean lobby. Obviously, everyone joins in to have a clean race, and it's just beautiful racing. Pure driving, pure racing. It was unbelievable. Good, unbelievably good. I can't speak anymore. End of the day, what can I say? In towards the right-hander we go. As you see, Ghosty goes into the pits. Not sure what strategy Ghosty was going for there. Did start on said hard tyre, but obviously felt he was losing out there, so tried to go for the medium tyre potentially there. Maybe even a two-stop, I don't know. In towards the right-hander we go. Just having this cracking race with Gohan here. You see those sparks there. You don't see that very often. In towards the braking zone. Not going to quite get the move done there. Gohan does run a little bit deep there. Probably should have looked down the inside, but we didn't at the time. As we continue out of Druids now, head towards Graham Hill. Very tricky corner. Avoid going too much on that curb. Gohan runs a little bit deep there. We're going to get the move done. Happy days. Up into P number 5. Numero 5. And we've got an Audi R8 up ahead. So you may have seen my brake balance earlier. If you do choose the R8, -2 is a very good brake balance. Now, if you want the ultimate faster slaps, you're going to want to put it to actually the rear. Oh, speak of which, speaking of a car we were speaking about earlier, the Z4. Happy days with this one, eh? Lost Shelty choosing the Z4. You don't ever race the Z4s, to be honest with you. So it's nice that we get to race the Z4 here. In towards Paddock we go, and not going to quite get the move done here. Going to be right behind Lost Shelter here as we head up to Druid. So again, you want to look towards the inside as I do here. In towards the braking zone. Just broke a little bit too early there. We are going to talk about a track guide briefly, but Shelty keeps the position there on the outside. So continues to Graham Hill now. Again, just be very careful there. You want to try and use the curb there to your advantage. Shelty uses a bit too much curb there and goes off, and
fatality.
Yes, fatality indeed. Unfortunately, used too much grass, came back on, span to the left, hit the barrier. Ultimate fatality. Right, let's go into a track guide now, because I know a lot of people just want the track guide. Here we go. As you head up to turn 1, Paddock, basically I look for these brake markers, and I brake normally in the middle of them. It's normally the crest of the hill as well. It's a combination of all three things, and that's my reference all the time for this corner. So just keep an eye out for that. As you see, I brake. Third gear, you want to clip the curb if you can, and then accelerate down. As you get the compression down at the bottom of the hill, you should be fine to continue that acceleration. Up into Druids, turn 2, a marker on the left hand side on the barrier. That's my marker. I find the Palmer Sport sign is too far ahead. You will outbrake yourself, so I use that on the barrier, but I broke a little bit too early here apparently. As we come through there, I would actually recommend second gear rather than first, but even so, pick a gear of your choosing. So the curb on the right side, that's what I use as the marker. Be careful about using this though, because obviously wherever you're looking, your car will go. If you run too far wide, you're going to go off to Narnia, as we saw earlier on with Womble. So through there we go. Use all the curb if you want on the left. Just don't, on the right, sorry. Just don't do what Shelty did. Now, as you head towards this left-hander, on the right side, the barrier changes to green. That's what I actually use, but the one marker is also there. So it's kind of nice that you've got both. You could also use that grey curbing there as a bit of a reference too. It's nice there for that corner. It's a very hard corner to get right. Usually you want a later line and come in if you're in a power car. In a handling car, you can come in a bit earlier and it should be fine. Right, we're going to head down here now. Very easy markers now for the backside of Brands Hatch. Right side there, orange marker on the barrier. You want to use that. I normally drop a gear here to really get the car to turn in. You want to clip the curb on the inside as well. When you clip it, just put your foot to the floor. That's how you're going to get the ultimate lap time here. Through there we go. Drop to third gear there, back up to fourth. Now, easy marker again on the left, the orange barrier there. You want to brake just before that really. You want to try and use all the curb on the inside. You do have to be careful though of the curb glitch. I do talk about this often with the curb glitches. Basically, it can chuck you into a spin if you clip it the wrong way. Heading down Dingle Dell now, and on the right hand side, you're looking for that one marker there. That's what I use as a brake marker. You can see I've just put on the anchors right there. If you brake too late, by the way, you're going to go off. It's better to brake early here and maybe brake a little bit too early and get a nice turn in, rather than, you notice how I just trail brake a little bit at the end, rather than brake too late and just going straight off. Right hand side, Marshall's post. That's what you use for the left-hander, nice and easy. You can use the shadows as well. Obviously, I didn't know the time of day at the time when I filmed this, but yes, the the marshal post on the right hand side. Lovely marker to use. Through there we go. We're going to head towards the last corner now, which also has a very, very easy marker. So on the left hand side, you have that huge piece of tarmac. That's what I use basically to start that. You can see I'm on the anchors now. Again, a corner that is very good to turn in early because it has a weird camber essentially, and you start to understeer very quickly the further wide you are. If you get on the inside, even clipping the grass a little bit on the inside, it will just help get you round and plonk your foot, off you go, head towards the line, and that's 23-4. You can get in the 22s here, no problem. So we just see Jay come out the pits there. Jay's actually going to do a 2-stop here. So Jay is doing a medium, hard stint as we come in towards the right-hander now. Now we are going to keep this position for a while. Hard tyre. The medium tyre when used is obviously going to get very slippy. I was finding it very slippy. Now in terms of laps, when you want to pit, I'm thinking lap 8 is probably the time to pit. I said it at the time on the stream as well. I've gone very aggressive on this one as well, so you've got to be careful of that. But I'm going to come in the pits. Do not enter the pits like this. This is the most stupid. Look at this. Bang, boing, bonk. Hilarious. So we're going the hard tyre. You can see I'm laughing my head off there as well. So get the hard tyres on, and we're going to go to the end now, of course, and see where we come out here. So in towards the right-hander. Maxim just gets ahead of me there. So we go down the hill. So we're going to have a nice, lovely battle here with Maxim in that Audi R8. Getting very close here, heading towards Druids. I didn't see actually how long a pit stop was, but we can see we're 29 seconds to a 25 lap time. So that's already around 4 seconds. I think it's around 7.5 seconds a pit stop from memory. But we'll calculate that again in just a second. In towards the left we go. And Maxime just pulling away a little bit here now. And you can see I'm still laughing my head off really from the pit stop. Anyway, we continue on lap 9 now. Heading towards the last corner here. Maxime goes a little bit deep. So this is what I was on about, going a little bit deep. And then you're going to have that little worry there of running wide, clipping the gravel. That's a very common mistake to do. Maxime goes defensive here. Easy enough to go to the left-hand side here. Going to be side by side for Paddock. Now, when you're like this, it's better to brake early for Paddock because they're going to run deep usually. And then it gives you a good run up to Druids. Druids is the better corner to make a move for. Maxime knows this, goes defensive. Good bit of defensive driving. So we're going to try and go around the outside. A little bit of contact there. Not too bad in the grand scheme of it, obviously. But Maxime keeps the position. It's good going in that. Fair play, Maxime. And through the left we go. But that's what you're trying to set up at Paddock for a move at Druids. That's what you really want to do. But in towards the left we go. And around we go. We're going to have a lot of slipstream here. So a good little battle with the other Audi R8. So you can have good battles here. Overtaking is hard, as you've just seen. So I set up for Druids. It didn't work out. So we'll see what we can do heading towards Hawthorns. As you see, we don't quite get enough speed there. We get a good line through there, though. Look at the speed we carried there as we head towards this next braking zone. Again, just being careful about the car in front. Look how close we're getting here. Wow, you can't fit anything in between us there as we head down and up Dingle Dell in towards the right-hander. Maxim nailed that beautifully. Well played, sir. In towards the left. Clip that curb. I love that corner because if you nail it spot on, you know you're on for an ultimate lap. If you don't nail it at all, a bit of an issue. Heading towards this right-hander then. And through we go. Let's see if we can get a run on Maxime this time. So White Tiger's just coming out the pits. I didn't see the time there in terms of what we lost, but heading towards this right-hander. Just goes a bit deep there at Paddock. So down the inside. Happy days. We'll take that position. So now we're on the inside for Druids, which is actually where we're going to make this move done and dusted. So Maxime tries to go around the outside. Tries to brake late. Doesn't quite work out here. Leaving not just enough room, and then we're past, and then we can continue on towards Graham Hill. So nice and easy there. So that time went from 11 to 4 seconds, so it is around 7 seconds the pit stop. In fact, yeah, it is, because look, we've got 4 seconds plus another 2.5. So it's around 7 seconds of pit stop, so just be warned with that one. And that's the end of the race, to be honest with you. 1 stop or no stop. No stop's going to be hard, don't get me wrong, but it's a way to gain positions in the race. 1 stop with a medium tyre is probably best. Even at the back, I would 1 stop. I'd go on the hards very early, do what Ghosty did, come in lap 3, get on the mediums, and then potentially push on, trying to undercut everybody. But that's going to be it for me now this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Quite a funny one in the grand scheme of it. But if you do want to join in, make sure you join in on Saturdays. But that's going to be it for me now, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you on another video or live stream very soon.